This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Anyway, well, here we are, August. Can you believe it?
Yikes.
August is here. I'm still just wrapping my head around, like, oh, summer. And it feels like it should be June. So anyway. All right, but with August, and we do approve the July minutes. There is, did you get a chance to look over them? There is Pascalina asked me to modify, there was a little unclarity on, plus we had 2,500 of other funds in the cultural chaos budget. So I'm just gonna scratch that from the minutes.
Like, I don't know what that was in reference to
It
with
was
that
just a little
number.
note that I had kind of scratched.
We had fundraised like 23,000, so, but that, it still doesn't, so because we don't know what it meant, I think it's better to just remove it.
So I'll amend these before I send them off to get approved, to the city. But can we approve them with the modifications?
Motion to approve with amendment.
Second.
Anybody second?
All right.
Okay, so anybody got public speak?
We didn't officially vote.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. Sorry.
If people are gonna be watching.
I mean,
That's
they're
right.
keeping score.
Public speak, anybody? All right, well, let's just.
August is usually our slowest art walk month, generally speaking. It was a lighter month than previous months, but it was a very well-attended art walk. I was in Old Town Hall and spent time in Eastworks. I did not get to Cottage Street this time, but I saw pictures and people were out. It was a beautiful, I know Cindy's not here, but I just want to acknowledge her and thank her for all the work she put into the youth show at ECA Gallery. There are 90 artworks by middle school students from Hilltown Community Charter School, and it was great to meet the other educators and administrators and some of the youth artists, and I just, again, think a lot of the choices we made are really they continue to build. Also, there are more individual artists participating, opening their studios at Eastworks, I've noticed. There have been some new people starting to do that, which I think is also really great. That's something we had been talking about for a long time. So, our next art walk is in September. It is not Labor Day weekend that weekend. It probably will be next year, but I think it's nice. We just had a art walk on a holiday in July, and it was actually great, but I think it's nice when it's not on a 3-day weekend. Just kind of helps all around. So yeah, it was all in all a very successful art walk.
Great. I didn't get to Eastworks this time, but it was good, so yeah.
Art in the Garden, I mentioned last meeting, has been rescheduled Saturday, September 6th from 2 to 5. It will dovetail with Art Walk. And we've been talking about, my two colleagues in the planning and DPW departments are going to be meeting putting a meeting on our calendars in the coming week or so to just, like refresh our memories of everything we've planned. All of the artists and all of the host gardeners can participate. We will come up with a rain plan so that we won't really have to cancel unless it's like really inclement weather. But if it's just raining like last time, we'll have a backup. It will be a very different event because it's gardens in September versus gardens in June. It is a very different reality. That's like a whole season, huh? It really is. Olive, before she left, she updated all the flyers. I sent one out. I did a save the date in our newsletter this past weekend. So, and I'll do some posting about that as well.
Great.
We will be having our new Poet Laureate's first community event on Thursday, September 18th. I think it's the 18th at Park Hill Orchard. The rain date, I believe, is on Friday the 19th. Let me just double check. Yep. It'll be at 5 o'clock, and all of the arrangements have been made with Park Hill Orchard. We chose a spot that's very accessible to all people, where there's electricity and restrooms and like everything. There are many beautiful places throughout the orchard to do events, many of which are also accessible, but it's uneven ground. It's more difficult and can be more challenging. So that was very important to us. And Carolyn Zykowski is just like, making all the arrangements. She has a number of people already lined up. And this is what she had talked about during our first meeting, was really wanting to do something in the orchard in the fall. And that's what's coming together. So that'll be a nice, another event that we hadn't been planning on. And I also did a save the date in our newsletter this weekend about that.
Great. Public art?
So public art, there are some interesting new developments. I want to make sure that ECA committee knows that our interim mayor, Salem Derby, is an avid supporter of public art and the arts in ECA. And during his first week in office, wanted to set up a meeting to talk about arts in Easthampton and ECA and where things are at, and just kind of like connect about that, which I really appreciated. It was like, 1 week in the office, and it was like a priority, which is just great in and of itself. And then he also shared a vision and an outline for the vision about doing more murals, like putting together a pretty, I would say, a very comprehensive, far-reaching mural arts event that involves kind of like different layers of mural making, including like large-scale murals on sides of buildings that are more, I'll call them more of a permanent nature. And then also like community chalk drawings along the bike path, and, just like really engaging many different sectors of our community. I, just really appreciated the thoughtfulness, and we had a wonderful discussion about it. I let him know that I would be bringing it to the ECA Public Art Committee when we meet. We normally meet the first Wednesday of the month, which is normally this coming Wednesday after this meeting. We rescheduled to the following week because a few of our members were going to be unable to attend. So it felt like an important discussion just to consider. Initially, he was hoping to have the murals painted before the election, and I explained that it's going to need to take more time, and that's actually the good news. We want community investment and buy-in, and we're going to need to secure funding, and there are many tiers, so which he understood and appreciated. So we're kind of looking at a longer term. But I basically said to him, we'll discuss it at our public art meeting. Want to get the feedback from that group, and then we'll want to meet with him again just to kind of go through and share, help maybe craft a vision for it. But I think it's great. I think it's exciting. And the other piece of public art is that I'm going to be painting those, I don't know if you know them, you probably do, the geometric bike racks that were on Union Street. They're going to be painted in new colors, and then the colors are coordinated with the map, the different districts in the map, and then they will be reinstalled before the end of October, which is when it's all up to Mass DOT. So it's kind of all part of the Union Street redesign. They will be on the same side of the street, the Tandem Bagel side of Union Street, but there is now a new pad where because there was a change in the shape of the bike path around safety and accessibility, there's a spot that's waiting for them. That's happening. Another significant public art conversation that's going on right now is that right outside this building, there had been a painted transformer box by Amy Johnquist. ECA had commissioned her many years ago, before I was here, and then we worked with her to support her to touch it up since I began at ECA. And that transformer box was actually removed and replaced as part of the Union Street redesign. ECA attended the last two. Yeah, right. Oh, it's right here.
Big black.
That's right. Ta-da! This, behind the curtain.
The black slab.
So it was replaced. Amy's original transformer box, Power to the People, is being stored at the DPW's highway department. One of our ECA Public Art Committee members, Bob Riggs, and I will be visiting it to just check the current status. And I've been in touch with Amy. Tracy's been in touch with Amy to talk with her about possibilities for where it can be reinstalled. And I've been talking to Greg at DPW just as an artwork. It will not be an operating transformer box. Steve Colicelli on our board at previous meetings had mentioned that the Easthampton Cultural Council had been wanting to commission artists to paint 2 new transformer boxes, including this one. Do you want me to just update people, or do you want to?
I can also do it. So because I'm on the ECC committee, we had initially put funds in. You can take like a certain percentage out of the funds to do a project. Each committee can. So we decided we wanted to do that. So we had $4,000, and we wanted to do a mural. But then everywhere we were going to do a mural, we kept on getting like thwarted, and where are we going to do it, and this and that. And so they started to talk as a committee. I didn't happen to be at this one committee, but they were talking about the traffic boxes. And so that when that came up, I said to Pat, when I found out about it, said to Pascalina, it's interesting because of what happened with Amy's, because we had just had a public art meeting, and we were like, oh, it's a little tricky because we're deinstalling one artist. We can't just like have a new artist, it just kind of looks bad in the sense of, so anyway, we voted at the ECC to hire Amy to do it. And so she's gonna do this box and she's gonna do the other traffic box outside of the Congregational Church on Main Street. So she's gonna do both of those as part of the ECC project. And so she agreed. I reached out to her and she agreed. So I just need to, or the ECC committee just needs to get her a contract.
Yes, and when I spoke with her, that was what she was waiting on,
yeah.
was getting a contract.
And I think that maybe we could use a public arts contract and just
Make
amend it.
amendments,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
I really think that this is interesting because they present two very different opportunities in terms of the kind of content of the design of the mural. Like, this one is going to be more permanent, as it were, whereas the other we know is going to be disappearing in a couple of years.
right.
And maybe something more timely can be there, whereas this would be kind of timeless in some ways. I'm just wondering if in the kind of the concept for the scope, if that's been a part of your conversation so far with Amy about the kind of.
I had said to Amy, that she should put some proposals together. I mean, we will be looking at them. We're not just going to say, oh, do whatever you want,
Yeah,
so
of
we
course,
will
yeah.
be looking at that. But yeah, I think there will be a conversation about that for sure. And the fact that the Power for the People one is being reinstalled somewhere as more of a sculpture, we suggested that one at Congregational Church, when they do the Main Street, that could somehow also get reused in some other place too. So that's something to consider, so.
Do you
But
have the site for where it's going to be installed or potentially be installed, the kind of decommissioned one?
No, that's
The power to the people?
Yeah, that's the conversation.
There's a conversation going on, and
I think you could probably mention what
Okay,
the conversation
yeah.
is.
so there is a conversation. It came from the ECA Public Art Committee, and it was presented to Amy as a possibility, and she was very open to this idea. And it's interesting because since the conversation began, we've had this change in our mayoral office. So the idea is to have it be here at 50 Payson and serve almost like a comment box. Power to the people.
Yeah.
That people could put their ideas. So it's,
We haven't
It's-
vetted out whether or not that's feasible, but
Yeah.
it would be in the front of the building versus, back here.
like where people come in and, it would be like the idea is that it would engage the public.
That's
In
such
some
a cool
way.
idea.
So we'll see, I could see it being well received and I can see it being otherwise, so we will see how that goes. I'm planning when I meet with Salem again to mention it. Maybe he'll just wanna make it happen
Make
while
it
he
happen
can.
while he can.
Executive order, yes. Public art at Town Hall, City Hall.
Percent for art while you're at it.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, actually, speaking of funding, I'm sorry. Are you still reporting on the boxes?
I mean, so I had the conversation with Amy, but we haven't had a meeting since then, but essentially, we just have to get her a contract, and I think it's a go. Steve has talked to DPW. I just don't know where in that conversation, like if he needs to follow up again, or if they're like, okay, thumbs up, or how far in the sort of the chain that has to happen. But as far as I know, yeah, we're done with that endeavor, and she'll take it from here. When she gets a contract and all that. So, yeah, so I am done with that conversation, so you.
I'm sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt. When you were talking about the kind of funding cycle, when he was mentioning, it just made me wonder if we.
We have not gotten funding from NEFA. And I don't, I know I've looked into it and I have a memory, but I don't trust my memory the way I used to. That they don't fund municipalities directly.
I think for their public art for spatial justice and the learning cohort, I think I sent this to you before, they have that learning group for public art for municipalities specifically, and it comes with a $15,000 grant.
We had looked into it, that's right. Denise had sent it as well a couple of years ago. For some reason, it was like we chose not, like we didn't think we were a good fit for it. I think it was for a lot of like communities that didn't have a lot of public art, that wanted to learn how to do public art. It didn't seem like quite the right, but that is a good funding source to look back into, and I haven't honestly looked in quite a while. So I will kind of reconnect with that.
Just put it out there as an option.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You know,
What is NEFA? Just for the hopelessly uninformed?
New England Foundation for the Arts.
It's like the regional arts org.
great. So, are we done with the public art? Okay, so ECA fundraiser.
Yeah, so the big thing is that we have to assemble a planning team, which we did not do since our last meeting. Tracy and I have met. We've been continuing to talk about it. Our space is secured. But just thinking about the scope, I guess before next meeting to have like a proposed budget and like budget and ticket price scale. Like, I think that's just like has to be the next thing, and that we'll present to this group for approval. Yeah, and to maybe meet as a smaller team of people.
And you're looking for us to be involved in that? Can they be from this committee?
There can be people from this committee. We can't have more than 3 people from this committee. Tracy's gonna be helping out with that. So 1 or 2 other people would be great.
Yep, I'm happy to help.
Cool,
I'm interested.
that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
We should talk, can we talk after this meeting about general times that are good for you to meet? And
Yep.
then we can make sure, as we're reaching out to a few other folks, that works.
We also want to bring in some people some longtime ECA, like older, like, not older, but former
Veterans.
veterans,
For the clubhouse culture.
Committee members or people that have been sort of in the, in the ECA
Yep.
community that might have some perspective and some ideas from, way back. So we're looking for a few others in that realm too.
Okay.
So it should be.
Sounds good. It should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Great.
So, I guess that's all the updates. The Easthampton Cultural Council report, Steve's not here, but I will, again, I think we just sort of touched on that about, public art. So we do have a new member. We have the CJ from Dry Humor has joined ECC, so she's now a voting member. And so that's been good, because the committee is, we need a couple new members on that committee. The rounds of, we're getting ready to, have a whole nother round of grants coming up in October, so that, that will happen before we know it. And then we're just, working on this, the traffic box thing. So yeah. So we have some ongoing discussions, and so we want to dive right into those.
Yeah.
Easthampton Futures announcement.
Yeah, so we had talked in the spring, the Easthampton Futures project was unanimously approved by the city council. And I think that, which is a big deal. We said at the time, it didn't make a lot of sense to do a big announcement because we had so much going on with our spring programs. And now it's kind of the opposite. It's summer, it's quiet, it's a little bit of a pause. A lot of people are away. And we have an election coming up in November. And what I think is, so I think a September, October announcement is kind of ideal. It's, I think it's letting people know about the relevance, the ongoing relevance, the work that ECA has been doing for the last 5 years, the work that ECA has been doing specifically since everything began to shift at Cottage Street Studios. And I think as relaying the knowledge and a reminder to our public and our voting public that our city council unanimously said we support these efforts and we support ECA to bring this vision to life. I think it's just a good time to do that. I wanted to make sure everyone around this table knew that there has been some discussion, and it looks like steps are being taken to set up an arts and culture listening session among one or more of the mayoral candidates. There's been a lot of learning in this. One of the people running for mayor is a current colleague and staff person in City Hall. Another person running for mayor is a current city councilor. So there's and we have an interim mayor, there's just a lot of different things that have not happened in prior elections in Easthampton, certainly not in the ones that I've been here for. So I've been talking, anytime a question has come my way around my capacity as a civil servant with respect to campaign-related things, it is a very delicate territory to navigate. I have sought guidance from Allison Manuel, city planner, my supervisor, who has been really helpful and is calling lawyers at the state department, just making sure we are following the right protocols, and we are. So, we're engaging some other folks in the community, and we'll see how things kind of come to be. But, yeah.
I think Burns from City Space is interested in pulling that together. She's not a city municipal, committee, so she might be able to kind of do it without having some, her hands tied in the same way that we too, so.
Yeah, and it's not just me, it's also this committee, as a municipal committee.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
Not to say you couldn't do that personally, but
Mhm.
as a committee member, it's sort of frowned upon.
So with that in mind, I think an arts and cultural listening session for mayoral candidates is amazing and will be really informative for me, for us to like hear from community members. It's just a valuable place that community members can go and share feedback. So I'm mentioning all this in the context of the Easthampton Futures announcement because I think that if it was announced ahead of this, it could also be an opportunity to just spread the word that that's happening. And to kind of update people on what's being done in case they're not aware of that. So Burns is gonna keep us up to date on like the timing of it all. And then we'll coordinate the announcement of that. And just to refresh people's memories, we did talk at a meeting a few months ago about having the Easthampton Futures report exist in a public Google folder. The goals and strategies will be in there. Each of the updates will be made so that they're accessible in real time. So if we like accomplish a new thing, it will get added to that outline. And then there will be a third folder, a third folder there where people, or a third document where people could access a form to give feedback. And we had said that we would make room at our monthly meetings to review any questions, concerns, feedback, ideas, that sort of thing. So that will all be kind of part of that. So it feels very significant and a really important thing to, in terms of where we're at.
Perfect. That'll be exciting to see that. All right, so the cultural chaos budget.
Yeah, so I had mentioned at our last meeting that cultural chaos has continued to become more and more expensive each year. I feel very strongly that we need to look very closely at these rapidly growing numbers. I am putting together a very comprehensive year-to-year comparison budget of it's just cultural chaos as an event. I have been gathering information from several colleagues about all of the in-kind expenses that are being provided, like the last 2 years, the police department didn't charge us for all of the people who were there. So it's like, if we're paying, what is that going to be? DPW placing all of the barriers this year. Like, it was a very coordinated effort. It's not just that morning placing the barriers. It was monthly meetings since January, like really all hands on deck. So this budget I'm going to share with you all and that I'm putting together doesn't just show the year by year totals, but what we're paying artists, what we're paying for infrastructure in the form of staging. Our stages were stage and tents this year, $2,000 more than last year, than the previous year. And that year they were up from the year before. And $2,000 is like 40% increase from last year. Like staging, bathrooms, public safety, they are all things we need in order to run this event. We can't run an event without these things. But I'm like, as I'm looking more closely at all these numbers, it's also like looking at the difference in the percentages of what we're paying artists versus what we're paying for non-artists. And I think that's very significant if we get $15,000 from the Massachusetts Cultural Council, which also is not a guarantee every year. It looks like there will be funding this year, but it has not been specified yet for what. The fact that the majority of that funding is not going to local artists, I think, or local businesses directly, I think is a very important thing that we need to really look very closely and seriously at. And maybe rethink the model that maybe there are other partners, like maybe there's another way to envision this, or maybe it's a matter of saying, what's the best use of $15,000? I've talked to, or it has come up at the Cottage Street Cultural District Subcommittee meetings, where it's like maybe there are 2 smaller festivals a year that do not require closing streets. Then we're in a very different sort of like financial reality with that. So the last thing I want to say before I propose an idea, when the mayor let the leadership team know that she was taking another position, which was since our last meeting. I can't even believe this was like all real fresh. One of the things, and I'm relaying this, Allison was at the meeting, she shared it with me. It happened to be right before our public safety cultural chaos debrief. So many of the people in that meeting had been at the leadership meeting with the mayor that morning. But one thing that was shared that I'm just really glad to have a heads up about now, and I want to make sure we all have this insight. The mayor shared with the group that she has been, and this is like, 2 steps removed, so it's just my understanding of things, that she had been very lenient and open about paying city employees overtime to support events like Cultural Chaos. So all the police, all the fire, all the DPW who work that day are on overtime. And that another mayor, no matter who they are, might not do that. And there are many mayors who do not, and that it is not a guarantee. Like for these people who, factor that in to their, whatever. So that's like a really interesting piece that had honestly not been in my like primary. So I just feel like that's another unknown and something for us all to kind of keep in our pockets, that there are many variables to cultural chaos. So what I would like to do, now I met with the Cultural District Committee right after Cultural Chaos for a debrief of the event. And we talked then, and I've gathered a lot more information since then, but I think it would be really good for ECA, this group, and the Cultural District Committee to have a meeting together in September. I can send the budget out ahead of time to look at the numbers and to just talk. We don't even have to make decisions at that meeting. It's just a matter of getting the big picture thinkers in with the implementers. Yes, and having both of those perspectives, like you all, we all are the financial reality of ECA and the fact that funding is going to become more and more uncertain. Spending every dollar we have for something like that, I think, is an important conversation to have. Like, what, how we feel about all that. So I think it would be a really good to begin talking with one another about our options.
Have everybody at the table to go, okay, here's, the reality, here's some options, what are our feelings about it from both sides, right? So, yeah.
It could be good just to get different sets of eyes on different parts, because if it's really gonna be itemized and, kind of, cleaned out all the different parts, I think it'd be good to get different eyes on different parts of it to see what people observe, just sort of like, here's what I notice about this, and ask questions, because it seems like it's at a good place. The cultural chaos is really strong, and so it's a good place to kind of poke it a little bit and see, what can be done. Because the cost is, we don't want it to be prohibitive, so we want to be flexible but stay true to what it really is, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, it's such an important touchstone community event. It really does so much important, like, it builds the economy. I hear from so many of our local business owners that, like, people come back, they're like, oh, I was here for Cultural Chaos, I wanted to come back. Like, there really is, like, it does help grow our public and our customer base for the city. So yeah, I just think we've been doing it largely in the same way year after year, and what can it look like?
So I'm imagining that other festivals are facing the same issues. Have you reached out to like Green River Festival, Asparagus, like all these, and maybe like with a variety of, like, it's run by a nonprofit or a Friends of group, or it's municipal, or it's, got a production house behind it, on how they are kind of approaching and solving for these things?
It's a great insight.
Well, Green River is funded by Signature Sounds, and tickets are pricey.
Yeah, you also,
Totally.
I think it's a good point to
Well,
say,
yeah,
like,
you pay to get into that,
Right.
where this is free, so it's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah.
we still might learn from something from, they say, well, here's what we've done to streamline this, or should bundle these together, or.
I know Florence Night Out, like, faced, they don't exist anymore, it doesn't exist anymore, and so, like, but yeah, kind of checking in with different groups and hearing how they've navigated it and what their challenges have been, I think is a really smart idea.
Is the chamber involved?
So the chamber is not involved in an organizational capacity. I think that's a really interesting.
I mean, it's for businesses locally,
And there's a new chamber director who started right before Cultural Chaos, who got his foot in the door, and they tabled, which I really appreciated. And we had talked about getting together for some lunch in the summer and talking about ways we could work together. So that's a great idea. Thank you. Awesome.
So, are we kind of?
Yeah,
wrapping
and
that up?
evening meetings, right? That would be an evening. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure, because, great. Perfect.
Art Workspace Easthampton.
I was thinking I had new updates, but I'm looking at the minutes and there are no new updates
Okay.
since then, so
Okay.
my apologies for not realizing.
It's okay.
Actually though, we had talked about like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
this-
we
I'm
had
like,
that-
there was something, we did talk about this.
Had that
We-
lively conversation.
Yeah, we had a really fun brainstorming session about putting something like up in Nonotuck
Buying
you
a
know.
van.
Yeah, so
Did you get that?
since that meeting,
Did you get that Instagram post that I sent you?
yeah,
So basically, I saw this guy on Instagram that had basically bought a truck, almost like a U-Haul truck. And I've seen another Instagram post about this too, where they're making these trucks into gallery spaces, and they're, you know, going around. So it's not like you have to be tied to any one building, or so that could be kind of an interesting thing. It could be an adjunct, you know, sort of the roving gallery. It could be the roving artist residency. It could be any number of things. I mean, I think we'd have to come up with funds to buy something like that, and that's, you know, that might be a trickier
and insurance
conversation,
and
you know.
maintenance and.
You know, that might be a little trickier, but it's not, you know, not something that's that far-fetched, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are many ways to go about it, and since our last meeting, it was announced through the Massachusetts Cultural Council that our governor has approved like more funding for arts and culture than ever before, which is amazing. And the Cultural Facilities Fund in particular is quite high. So I will take a closer look into that. Yeah.
Thinking about like I think some of that funding went to the Office of Travel and Tourism as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
did.
Thinking about like destination development grant funding as well.
Mm-hmm.
That just closed for this year on July 9th, but I don't know if it's regular annual cycle or what their cycle is. But that is for like capital grant. So, because I really like the idea of like a roving gallery type space, and also I'm very attached to one of those core goals in the Easthampton Futures Project around like stabilizing space, like fighting the tidal wave of real estate changes and challenges here in some kind of way as well, and what kind of role a municipal entity or department can have, especially given how closely tied arts and culture and the arts and culture businesses are to the local economy and the local identity. Like we use it in tourism, so even non-arts businesses are benefiting from the arts identity of this community. It has an outsized impact here.
No, I totally agree. I don't think they're exclusive to each other.
No,
so
no,
that would
I don't.
be,
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So yeah. And I'm hoping that, you know, the new mayor, whoever that is, you know, sort of interested in that and kind of understands. No, because I think it is true.
Yeah. Are we ready to?
Yeah, so anyway, just, that's a conversation I think to be, when everybody's here again, to like really, you know, continue to talk about that and other ways that we can actually make the residency happen and or, you know, have a roving gallery or, you know, or both. So, yeah.
The marketing position. So I posted it in our newsletter on Saturday, and which is a little later than we had originally stated. I pushed the deadline back to August 18th, and we'll see what comes in. We've gotten 3 applicants already.
I thought it was going to be a ton.
Oh, well, I just posted it on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So I haven't posted it on social media, like, you know, people are interested. I've heard from a number of other people that they will be applying. So, no, I was just like, oh, they're coming in already, like they
Yeah.
tend to all come in closer to the deadline. So, we're gonna have to review the applicants, and have a discussion, a review process. Who here would like to be on the review committee?
Yeah,
A glutton for that kind of punishment.
yeah. I mean, I can if I need to be, but yeah.
And we can
Better be
ask
mine,
Steve and Cindy as well.
I'm willing as well. I also, it's just, I'm missing a bunch of time, like taking a bunch of vacation from like the middle of August to like the middle of September. So, I mean, I'm around here and there, but I'm also mostly gone.
Okay. That's good to know. I'll check in with Steve and Cindy as well and kind of, I think we can have 3 people and not more than that. So let me check in with them and see.
But I also, you know, I can, you know, depending on how many applicants it is, I can, my work life isn't super busy. I have sort of time during the day, so I could read through applications and resumes. But the time I have for like evening meetings might be limited. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Okay. I think the review would happen after August 18th.
Yep.
And we would have time to review all of the applicants and their materials, and then we would have a meeting and possibly need another meeting depending on, you know, I'm guessing what it would be is coming up with a short list of people who I or we could then call and have some follow-up questions. We asked for a letter of interest and a resume, so we did not put together an application form. There were not specific questions. So even just looking at the 3 that came in, I'm like very aware it's like of some questions we're gonna wanna know and like why they wanna be a part of it, why it's important to them, and some about their skill sets and experience as well. So
What would the interview process after that be like?
I don't know. I think we would talk about that as a committee and come up with how we want to structure it and proceed. So there's, you know, it would be up to us to
But it wouldn't be
establish
like,
that.
the whole committee wouldn't be, that's something that the whole committee wouldn't do, would be this.
No.
No. I think that would,
Wow. I'm excited.
very Ted.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, I just didn't know what
Yeah,
the
no.
process would be.
Usually with a review process of any kind, it's usually a smaller group.
HR.
Yeah. Been there, did that. I don't wanna go near that anymore. Plus, I know nothing about marketing, so.
Okay, so
Keep us posted.
keep us posted and so I'll keep you all posted. Great. And then the arts advocacy gathering. I had mentioned that there was a legislative roundtable around arts and culture, and then this group has kind of like continued to meet each month, but it's evolving and more people are coming in, and Tracy and I went to the meeting last week. It was at 33 Holly Street in Northampton. It was really great. And we are learning about other existing resources that for artists and arts leaders in Western Mass and throughout the state, which is really exciting. And then a group of 7 of us had said that we would meet before next month's meeting to just maybe start to craft like a draft model or concept of operations and management, communication, how is this existing, who's not in the room, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would like for Easthampton to host their meeting at the end of each month. I reached out to Sita Magnuson of Fort Future of Depict, who has a space in Eastworks that is really set up for some amazing facilitation for conversations like this, and she was really excited and really receptive. So I'll put some dates out to people, but we're looking at the last week of September. And they're usually, so far they're either on Wednesday or Thursday mornings from 8:30 to 10 a.m.
The next one is gonna be up at Double Edge Theater.
Yeah. End of
I just
August.
saw Heron's Flight last night.
Oh, I
wow.
only saw that last week. Yeah, it was fun.
Sorry.
No, it's great. Yeah, no, they're incredible with all their programming and all their hearts and all they do.
Yeah.
I didn't go back to the marketing position. Is the city's HR person involved in any of this?
So it's a subcontractor position.
Yeah.
They know about it. When we hired Olive, it says it's not through, it's from our budget. It's an isolated, they're not getting, it's 5 to 10 hours a week. It's not a benefited position. They're not an employee,
So they wouldn't be
but they will be
sitting in on it.
notified.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it fall over the $10,000 procurement
No.
threshold? Okay,
It doesn't.
so they don't care.
Yeah, and I talked with HR before we hired Olive to just make sure, and Lindsay as well. And it was ECA is doing the fundraising, great. I was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go over there, do that.
Yeah, so, no,
Yeah, and this is different from that position that we talked about, that would be a
city arts
city
coordinator.
arts coordinator position that ultimately we want to get, but still don't know if that's gonna happen. Because again, we'll have a new mayor and what their priorities are, so.
Yeah.
So is that everything?
That's everything, though. I did notice that the next meeting is actually Labor Day,
Oh, is
so
it?
we can't meet that day.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought I looked that up. So it would be the,
I have a question for the group. I've asked this before, and each time I say okay, but our meetings always fall the Monday after Art Walk, which is when I tend to work Friday and Saturday. And I used to like to take a Monday off after the weekend of working. And I always kind of say it's not a big deal, it's one night a month, blah, 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 blah. But every month I'm just very aware that it's a night meeting on a day. Would love to, be able to just
Sure, yeah.
take and rest.
So you want to push it to the next week?
Well,
I can't do second Mondays, unfortunately.
and you can't do third Mondays.
yeah,
And it always gets complicated like this. So I like to mention it,
But
and
we
then
should definitely
it's like
change
every
it.
month
I
I'm
think
like,
we
I
should change
really
it.
just this is why, it's there's a whole month.
It's a movable feast.
It's a movable feast.
It just keeps going round and round
We'll
and round.
put
It
the
was a Thursday, it was a Friday, now it's a Monday.
meeting on a outfitted U-Haul and we'll roll it down the calendar.
I would be happy for it to move away from Monday as well. Put it out there.
Monday's the best day for me, but, you know, depending on what happens, it's like everything, like I'm finding that later in the week, everything else happens, and then I don't wanna have to do a lot of, like, Monday seems to be
Fourth
the
Monday?
Yeah, we can put it out there,
I can send an email out.
why don't you send
September
an email,
22nd?
like,
Well, let me send an email out.
Okay.
yeah. and
Like,
let
if
everybody
it doesn't work for people, it doesn't work for people.
And there's always a fourth Monday, right?
There's always a fourth Monday. ECA meetings used to be, when I started, the fourth Thursday. Remember that? Forever.
Can we go back to September,
Yeah.
and just put it on as
Yeah.
for the 8th? Is that okay for everybody, the second?
That's a
is this-
maybe for me. I'm coming back from a trip that day,
Okay,
so and don't know when I'll be rolling back in.
okay.
So I don't know if I'll be back by 5:15.
I
And
might
have a
have,
conflicting meeting.
And actually, that's like a perfect, it's like Art in the Garden and Art Walk on the 6th.
okay.
I'm gonna send an email out.
The only problem is then, when we get further into the month, then it just kind of, yeah. But if we're,
You're worried that there's business we would need to get to?
well, no, it's just that, I mean, barring this other thing, when you push the meetings back into the middle of, and then you have another meeting
2
2
weeks
weeks
later.
later, it just gets a little tricky. So I always try to keep them, you know, close to the original whatever works is, you know, I'm open to that. I'm just saying, you know, generally I like to, but,
Well, it's been this way for years, and I just, yeah, I'll send an email out. And if
Send
it
an
works, great, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
and I guess I'll send an email regarding the next meeting, since it's on Labor Day. So we can weigh in on that.
Well, why don't I see if there's a new time that works for everybody?
Okay.
Because it might be,
But we need we need to also talk about that. I mean, you know, we need to throw that out there as well, the meeting. I mean, I just wanna put something on the calendar for September, regardless of what this other thing is, you know? Cause this might be an ongoing question of when we.
but
need
it
to-
also we might come up with a
Right,
time that
exactly,
works, and
yeah.
then that would answer the when is it in September.
Right.
So,
So I'm just saying that when you put out the email, put out the September, you know.
Meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, make a note of that as well, so that it's part of it. All right,
in general, are Tuesdays okay for people? Oh, Mondays are the only night for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, unless we want to start later. I can do Wednesdays, but, you know, I'm in Amherst until 5.
Yeah. Okay.
So I could get it, 5:45 probably. It's like a 20-minute walk to my car from my office.
Oh, geez.
Never mind getting here from there, like another hour.
It's like half your commute.
Traffic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have to always calculate that.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's tougher for Cindy to
Yes,
meet
yeah,
later,
yeah,
but meeting later is something I'm also like,
Or because then she's traveling up to the hill towns from here.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
being here.
I mean, I think, yeah,
And she has a gap from her school day
She's
to wait
waiting
for the
around.
start of the meeting.
yeah.
Yep.
She already has a gap, so I think we might lose her if we push it back, but I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it. It gets
Alright.
tricky.
I'm gonna send an email out regarding the fourth Monday,
It's fine with me.
which is in if we met in August, 1, 2, 3, it's in 3 weeks. The fourth Monday is always close to the next art walk.
It's a week before.
So instead of being like art walk
Yesterday.
went well, it's like, here's what we've got coming up for art walk. You know, there's a little bit of it's still a rhythm. It's just, you know, but.
Yeah, but we're professionals. You can handle it.
So the new business, let's just put new meeting time as new business, okay?
Okay.
Oh, so then the idea would be we would meet again in August on the 25th?
I think so.
Ah, okay,
Rather
okay.
than
Yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah,
because we have
I
a lot
hear you.
coming up.
Yeah.
I hear you, okay.
I wouldn't want to wait till the fourth Monday of September.
Mhm.
So let's do that.
Well,
All in favor?
Well, we have to.
She's gonna send an email.
There's 3 other people on the committee, so we gotta put it out there.
Yeah, I'll send
They're
an
not
email.
here, so they don't get to vote.
So, yeah,
Sorry, I'm
maybe a
just-
survey.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Whatever, yeah. All right, anything else other than that?
I had a question, it's not really a question, but going all the way back to the beginning when you said that ECA Gallery has the exhibit of the kids from Hilltown
Yeah.
School. Have we ever hosted a gallery show of the Easthampton kids, middle school and
Yeah.
high school?
Yeah, many, many times.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
We used to every year. And we've had it in more recent years.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were 90 artworks, which was why we thought better to keep it as this than open it to a whole other school, more classes. It would just, I mean, it already like fills the space.
Yeah.
But yes, we have done that and we've talked about, in fact, that is one other new business.
Should be
It's
an annual-
related. Yeah, we were talking about, it's nice because it's a group show in the summer, it gets different people involved. And on that note, I updated the website for the next call to artists to show at ECA Gallery 2026.
Great.
I went to add it to the newsletter on Saturday morning. It was like too many things. And I'm like, this is a great announcement. We're going to announce it. It's all set up. It's on the link tree. It's on everything. But I wanted to just let the committee know that in the coming weeks, we'll make that announcement.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, on that note, I guess meeting's adjourned.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.